Oh, for God's sake. I don't know if you heard that, but that was a lot of stain falling out of the pot. Hi YouTube, Neil here with FaceliftInteriors. In today's video, we are going to be hot. That's what we're going to be. We're going to be hot today. It's 34 degrees outside. It'd be fine if I was Mexican, but I'm not. I'm English. I'm an Englishman. I don't like this bloody weather, okay? It's too bloody hot. In today's video, we're going to be reupholstering a Parker Knoll armchair. The name kind of precedes themselves. They were quite a big name, very well made, and 9 times out of 10, people try and keep them. So this one is actually a sentimental piece. Customer's grandmother was the original owner. So in today's video, we're going to be showing you how to sand the wood down. We want to go as low as we can because we want to take all the colour out because we're going to be restaining it as well. We're going to be showing you how to stain the wood. We're going to be showing you how to varnish the wood, how to sand the wood, how to wet sand the wood as well. That gives you a really nice finish. Then prepping the seat back up, putting the springs back on, putting some new nice 2-inch white foam on the back with Dacron over the top, and then obviously the upholstery part at the end. It's quite a long job. I had to spread it out over the space of about a week. Staining's fine. As soon as you start varnishing, you have to let that go off for a few hours. So it took about a week to do this chair. Just as a warning, the customer did pick a very bright fabric. I quite like it though, to be fair. If you like these kind of videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well. We're doing upholstery tutorials every week. So without any further waffling from me, let's get into the video. Action. Here I am sanding down the frame of the chair using a standard electric sand. I think it's a McAllister. All the tools we use in today's video are going to be linked in the description below. So I'm sanding off all the old varnish and trying to get down as low as I can to get all the colour out that was inside the wood. But some of it is too deep, you can't get it all out, but I'll try my best. So here's a shot of the chair all sanded down, ready to be stained. Right, so guys, what we are doing now is we have stripped the chair down, we've sanded it, we've taken all the old varnish off. What we're going to do now is just give it a bit of a clean with some wet wipes, take the old dust off, and then we're going to start varnishing it. We've already given it a bit of a spray down. You probably saw in the video that we sprayed it down with the airline. And once that dries, then we start staining. We'll probably stain it once or twice, and then once we finish staining, we're going to go into the varnishing side of things. Yes, keep on watching. So you can see there that there is dust coming off still, so it's important to do this. You don't want to stain over a load of dust, so it'll all get stuck in the stain and you'll have little clumpy bits. You don't want to do this. You do not want this. I have seen this. I do not want this. Right, so this is wood stain. We're going to use this to put this on. We're going to use a cloth to put this on. This is light teak. This is the colour I've gone for. That's what I thought was closest. Looking at the back of this now, maybe brown mahogany if this isn't dark enough, but I think it's going to be fine. What we're going to use this stuff, stocking net. We're going to use that to put it on. Any old rag will do. A rag is better than a brush. We're going to start staining. This is stocking net. This is stain. I'm going to put the stain onto the stocking net, onto the chair. So we're just rubbing on, not using too much. We're probably going to stain this twice. So what I'm doing is I'm just blobbing on and just working our way around. It's a gel. So that is layer number 1 of stain on. I think it's going to look rather nice. So what I'll do is I'll come back later, do another coat, and then tomorrow we'll start varnishing. Alright. Right guys, so what I'm doing now, I'm going to use this varnish to varnish this chair. I'm going to use a brush. What I'm doing is using the brush, just doing nice long strokes, not putting too much on. This is going to need a couple of coats, I'd say. What I'm doing is I'm using the brush to go with the grain, up and down, just making sure I cover every single part of this wood. Well, so that's the first coat done. Gonna leave that about 4 to 8 hours, and then oh, I missed a bit there. I can see we have to come back, put another coat on. So what we've done now is we've sanded it down again to get it nice and smooth, get all the roughness out of it. So now we're going to go over it again for 3rd coat now. But before we do that, we're going to do this stuff. This is paint thinners. I've got an old rag, an old t-shirt that I've cut up. Get some of that on there, and then that'll pick up all the dust off the top that's sitting on the wood still. So what I'm doing here, guys, I'm going to do the bottom of the arm, the underneath of the arm, then the sides, then I'll do my nice long clean strokes on the top. This is the most important part of the frame, the top of the arms. That's where people are going to have their arms most of the time. You don't want it to be rough or bitty or anything like that. So that's why we sanded it down, got it nice and smooth. Then we're just doing nice long strokes. One long nice stroke. Make sure we cover it all. And then you leave that. So what I'm doing now, the chair's all been varnished. I think I'm going to have to go one more coat over the top of the arms because there's a little bubble there. You have to sand that out. What I'm going to do now is prep the back up. So I'm going to put some Hessian over the top there. Then I'm going to put probably 2-inch white foam over the top of that. So keep on watching, huh? Here I'm putting on the Hessian, which is a protective layer which goes over the top of the springs or webs and protects the foam from collapsing through it. Staple it off, cut off the excess, then fold it on itself and staple it down again. Here I'm sticking down 2-inch white foam, making cuts into the arms. Make sure it sits nice. And I'm going to use upholstery adhesive to glue it all down. Again, all the tools and materials that we use today are going to be in the link in the description below. Here I'm using a foam cutting knife to cut off all the excess. So what I'm doing here is I'll cut it flat there and then I'll roll it on itself. Staple off here. It gives me a nice rolled edge. So I'm just unsticking it there a bit. Do the same here. Take some of the glue off. Just roll it down on itself. I'm going to do exactly the same here down the side. That's the back prepped up. Just going to put a bit of Dacron on. So now I'm putting some Dacron on, gluing it on. Dacron is used to give it a nice protective soft feel, take it to a luxurious bit of furniture. So what I'm doing is cutting into the arm and folding it round. Just make a little snip there. Get that round there, that under there. So as you can see here, I've already prepped the back up. I'm not 100% happy with the finish on the top of the arms. They're a little bit bitty, meaning there's some little specks on there, some little bits. So I'm going to show you the next process. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some wet sanding. So what I've got here is some P600 sandpaper, really fine, and some water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the top of these arms. So nice and wet. Spray the sandpaper as well. What I'm going to do is slowly start, ever so gently, start working in little circular motions. I can already see some colour in the water, so that means I'm starting to pick up the little bits. I can hear them, I can feel them as well. I can feel the little bits of varnish that are sticking up. Like that. Feels lovely now. Clean that off. So I'm going to do the same over this side. So you close up on the arm, you can see what I'm doing. It's nice and wet, the sandpaper's nice and wet, working in a circular motion. I want this part of the chair to be perfect, obviously, because I want to do a perfect job, but this is the part that the customer's going to sit on. This is the part where they're going to rest their arms. So I want this to be absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that I clean all of the dust off, so you can see the dust sitting on the top there. So I'm going to use a wet wipe, try and get that all off. Dry it again. Then I'll use some thinners to make sure I take all of the old particles off. Now what I'm going to do is varnish. This is almost like ASMR. So also I'm going to check down my lines here and here. Make sure nothing has run down the side. So you do not want that drying with a nice blob. Let's let that go off 24 hours and then check back in. Welcome back. Last video we sanded down the arms and revarnished them with a wet sand. They are beautiful and smooth now. Beautiful and smooth. Put a fabric down here on this bench because obviously with this varnished wood I'm worried about it getting scratched, so I've got a protective layer down on top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start upholstering. I'm going to do the inside back, outside back, and then once I've done that, do the seat and then the cushion, and then it's going to be done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure the inside back and outside back. So I'll show you how I do that. Inside back, so we're going to come around the widest point using our soft tape, 33 by, and then it finishes under here, 39. The outside back is 23 by 28. Now I'm going to put that down, I'm going to cut the fabric, then I'll put it back up, start upholstering, and I'll show you how we upholster this. You'll see this is a very, very leery fabric that the customer chose. Wanted us to make a statement. I think you will with this. I've just cut this panel, so it's 39 top to bottom by 33 side to side. Now I need to choose the colour I want to be my centre. Now I think I'm going to choose this red line here. This red line that follows all the way up. That's going to be my centre. So I'm going to make a nip in there. And the same at the top. So now I know I can line them up to the centre. So now I'll cut my outside back on the other side, as long as I make sure that is the centre line. What we've done, guys, is we've marked the centre here. We've marked the centre on the back, so we know where we want our centre line to fall, because it is a stripe. So I'm going to put a tack here at the back, just a temporary, 1 or 2. We're going to do the same down here, remembering where we've got our centre nip here, and there is a centre mark underneath here. So what I'm doing is I'm folding this fabric on itself. 1, 2 in there. So we're going to start working our way around. What I want to do is get as many staples in as I can, get it all set. Then I'm going to make my cuts into here, because you need to make cuts into these arms. So I'm just putting some temporaries in. And what you want to do here is I'm keeping an eye on, is the fabric looking the same on both sides? Meaning, is there the same amount there as this is there? And these are all still going in as temporaries. I can take them out as and when, just by pinching them out, because I'm only putting them in at an angle. So as you can see, we've got the top set on there. Now we're going to start working our way towards the bottom here. So what I'm doing is I'm folding the fabric under, because there's nothing that covers this up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cuts into here. Hopefully you'll be able to see from that side. Once I've made these cuts, I'm going to be able to clear out a lot more of this fabric. So as you can see here, that is where the arm is. So I want to try and cut in as straight as I can onto that. Under here we've folded all the fabric under and stapled off, because that is how it was originally. You can't leave the fabric open, you have to fold it under, because it's all on show under here. I mean, not like anyone's ever going to look under here, but now we're going to clear all this out here. Now I've lots of excess fabric, you can cut away. Right guys, so what we've done is we've got the inside back on. It's very bright. So what we did is we laid the fabric on, we made our cuts in here, as you can see now. That is beautiful. So now we're doing our outside back. So we've got our pipe in here, we just stapled it off just there, so it's going to finish here. So we're just going to take our piping around. Right, now we're going to put our outside back on. Going to lay that over here. Oh, hello. And that is going to come down here like so. So what we need to do is we need to put back tack along here, metal gripper down here, metal gripper down here, and we're going to put a lining to make that back nice and strong. Here I'm putting on a strip of cardboard strip, or back tack as we like to call it. Gives you a nice clean finish on the top. Then we use metal gripper, get a nice finish down the sides, stapling on each one. We have previously done a video that's quite in depth, how to do an outside back. We will link that above for you. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the cushion. When measuring the cushion, you'll see here that this is wider at the front than it is at the back. So I'm going to hang it just over at the front. So I'm going to hang over by an inch at the front, 19.5 on the front, and then side to side, I'm going to go from here to here. So 21 at the front, so it's going to finish 20. And then at the back, 16.5, so we're going to cut it 17.5. So here is the first one I've cut. And I'm laying it on and cutting the other side. Again, we have previously done an in-depth video on how to do a box cushion. We'll leave that in the link above. So here is the finished product. Very bright, very bold. Nice pattern match on the front. Pattern follows all the way over. Beautiful. Follows all the way up the back as well. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.